If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat and we can kind of go through those at the end. So there we go. Abbey College Manchester. Welcome to Manchester for those of you who aren't actually here in Manchester or here in the UK. So Abbey College Manchester, we have a motto, we have a tagline, and it's achieving success together. It's really important that people understand what together means, because it's not just about us in terms of teachers, not just about the students. It's everybody working together. It's us with parents, with students, with guardians. We all work together to make sure the outcomes for the students are as best they possibly can be. So we're a very small, but really friendly and welcoming community. We've got about 200 or so students on roll, and they are a mixture of UK students, so students from Manchester and the surrounding areas, and also international students. And we currently have international students from, as it says there, 29 different nationalities. UK, Iran, China, Hong Kong, top four this year. They were top four last year as well, but a slightly different order. So that's really great. And each year it just depends on where students kind of come from. So because we are a sixth form college, the students have more independence than they would in a more traditional boarding school. The college building is right slap bang in the centre of Manchester. If you look on Google Maps, you see Manchester zoom right in the centre, and we are there. So we're a fantastic location. And because of where we are, boarding is not on site. None of the students kind of live here, so they have to be a little bit more independent in terms of coming into college and getting here. And everybody kind of works together. Everybody learns together. There's no kind of differentiation between UK students and international students. So from a kind of experience point of view, it's great for everybody, because the international students get to hear kind of English being spoken at kind of normal speeds, and they get to pick up lots of slang, and so what we find is international students' English improves really, really, really quickly. So we're a very student-centered college. Like I say, we've only got about 200 students on roll, and we get to know the students really, really, really well, because we see them every day. We say it's like a big family, which is a really cheesy thing to say, but it's absolutely true. The students know us really well. We know them really well. Everybody's on first name terms, so you don't call your teachers sir or miss or mister or miss. So I'm Chris. Everybody calls me Chris. They call the teachers by their first name, which again is that step towards independence. It's a little bit more independent, a little bit more grown up, maybe than in some other settings in kind of more traditional boarding schools. So what we prioritise is student welfare. We listen to our students. We've got a very active student council, both in terms of here in college and also in boarding. Do regular surveys. Students have got lots and lots of different people they can talk to about absolutely anything, be it academic, be it pastoral, whatever it may be. Lots and lots of support available, because we are little. So the maximum class size is 12. And the average class size is 8. Some classes are smaller, some classes are slightly larger, so they are 12. But it's fantastic, because it means the students get the opportunity to get more support than they would if they were in a larger class. You know, a traditional independent school would have maybe 24, 25. A traditional kind of state school, public school here in the UK would have 30, 35. So if you find yourself in an A-level class of 6 or 7, it's absolutely brilliant from a support point of view, and from just the speed with which the teachers can kind of get through the curriculum and make sure the students are getting exactly what they need to be successful in it and to help them to get to the next level. Obviously, most of our students are here with a view of getting to university. So we place a lot of emphasis on UCAS support. Now, UCAS is the system through which students apply to universities here in the UK. And all year 13 students, be they on the A-level path or the IFP path, have bespoke UCAS lessons each week, and bespoke UCAS support from 2 of my assistant principals, and kind of individualized lessons and support as and when they need it. For international students who require IELTS, so who need the English, they also have IELTS lessons integrated as part of their timetable. So if they're doing 3 subjects, they do 3 subjects plus IELTS, 4 subjects plus IELTS. So IELTS is a timetabled lesson. And of course, the beautiful advantage of IELTS is you don't have to wait until kind of the end of year 13 to do the exam. Students are encouraged to sit their IELTS when they're ready. And it's really important to do IELTS, you know, for lots of our year 13 students who are going to university. The offer will say 888 plus a 7.5 in the IELTS. So the IELTS is just as important as the kind of academic subjects, which is why we place a great deal of importance on it. And again, you know, there's lots of academic support and pastoral support available for all of our students here in the college. As all independent schools, both here in the UK and around the world, we get inspected on a 3-year rolling cycle. Our last inspection was last year in March, and the judgment came out as excellent, which is the best it possibly can. So we were really pleased with that. The students, staff, and parents were also really pleased because it's the best it can possibly be. And some really nice comments there that the ISI judged that they saw. They're always here for 3-4 days, doing a real in-depth look into college life. They interview students, they go into lessons, they get questionnaires from parents. They do a very, very thorough search of what they want to find, and you can see the comments there. Really, really pleasing. And you know, if you do come and join us, if you do come and visit us, you'll see it in everything we do. It's a really focused place. It's a relaxed place. But the attitudes towards learning are absolutely positive because, as I say, the vast majority of our students are here with the goal of getting to university. And I'll talk more about university on a later slide. So various different courses available for study here at Abbey. So our younger students, 14, 15, 16, 17, they do GCSEs. Unlike more traditional schools, we do GCSEs in 1 year. So it's a 2-year course, but we condense it down into 1 year. So it means students can't do as many subjects as they maybe would in a different school or college. So the maximum number of subjects students can do is 6 or 7, and it's only 7 if the 7th is home language, Chinese, Persian, Russian, whatever it may be. And the reason students can do so few is, like I say, because we teach it all in a year. The teachers here are very experienced at doing that. Most of my staff have been here for many, many, many years and are absolute experts at getting students through the GCSE course in a year, and also in teaching the A-level and the IFP. So then A-level, 2-year, the traditional route, 1 year. So students sometimes come and join us for year 13, having done year 12 somewhere else every year. There's 3 or 4 students who join us in year 13. We also have a number of students every year who come to resit their A-levels. They sit either 1, 2, or 3 because it didn't work out the first time round in a different school or college. And again, because of the flexibility we have, we're happy to accommodate all of those. If you have a look on the website, there's the list of subjects we do at GCSE. I think there's a range of 10 different subjects, and at A-level, I think there's about 15 or 16 different subjects. Maths kind of sits in the middle, and you've got the sciences on one side, which are very popular, business and economics on the other side, and art and design kind of overarch everything, and they're really popular subjects. We teach 3 creative subjects with the art and design, photography, and textiles. And this year we're very pleased that a number of our students won first and second prizes in the ISE competitions, which was fantastic. And alongside the GCSE and A-levels, we also have the International Foundation Programme. The International Foundation Programme is a bespoke 1-year programme for students who are at least 17 years old and have done 1 year study of level 3, so ideally A-levels or IB or something in their home country. And there are various different pathways students can take. And it's a 1-year course which gives direct entry to university in the same way that A-levels do. So you would apply to to university through UCAS in exactly the same way as A-levels or IB or pre-U. And different pathways. So the pathways there are engineering, biomed, business, humanities, creative arts, and sport. And there's also a medicine program. And so those are the pathways. And alongside those pathways, I think there are some like 17 or 18 different subject combinations that students are pretty much free to choose from. And we can always find pathways for students to do, which play to their strengths and their interests. Last year, we had a boy who did RS, so religious studies and physics, and he's gone to Durham University to do philosophy and physics, which is a really, really interesting degree. So again, there's a lot of flexibility on the IFP, on the International Foundation Programme. And unlike A-levels, students do 2 subjects rather than 3, unless they're on the medicine pathway, in which case they do biology, chemistry, and then 2 units of either maths or physics. Okay, the International Foundation Programme, it's a modular course rather than a linear course. So there are exams at the end of each term. So we have exams in December, we have exams in March, and we have exams in June, and it adds up to an overall percentage rather than the grade. And the beauty of the International Foundation Programme versus kind of more traditional A-levels is it's not a competition. Okay, for A-levels, IB, any kind of qualification like that, everybody's competing for those A stars and A's. Whereas the International Foundation Programme, it's a modular percentage-based programme. Students get the percentages that they get. Okay, so there's less sense of competition, and the International Foundation Programme is accepted by all UK universities, with the exception of Oxford, Cambridge, and Imperial. So academic support, obviously we are a college, so teaching is what we do, academics is what we do, and we have various support mechanisms and ways of kind of tracking progress and ensuring students are making the best possible progress and are where they're supposed to be. So we report home to students, parents, agents, guardians every half term or so, which means that every 5, 6, 7 weeks, students will be getting what we call a patch report. And as it says there, that's what patch stands for. So it's progress, areas for development, target rate, current grade, how to get to the next level, and homework, and the areas for development and how to get to the next level. They're 3 or 4 bullet points, really focused on that individual student, and those are the developmental areas that students need to be looking at. And again, talking to their teachers about it, getting support from their teachers, from my learning centre manager, from their heads of year, if they're not too sure on how to do it. Every student has a form tutor, and they see their form tutor every day. Okay, so they come to registration every day. And then on a Thursday morning, they also have a PSHE slot where they do all the personal, social, and health education. So every half term, then students may have meetings with their head of year, assistant head of year. And then also students, we have students who are in year 12, we have a class called Success in the Sixth Form. And this is a bespoke course that my assistant principal and a couple of the members of staff have written. And it's essentially a study skills session. It teaches the students how to make notes, how to take notes, how to do that constant retrieval practice, how to make sure they're staying on top of the work they need to be doing. You know, A-levels are a demanding course. Essentially, they're a 60-week course. If students are leaving revision to the very last minute, then it's not going to go very well. And Success in the Sixth Form guides them through how to make sure they're not doing that, how to make sure they are staying on top of things and constantly doing those bite-sized chunks of revision, of retrieval practice, of note-taking, essentially on a weekly basis, to make sure that they're gradually building up not only their notes and revision, but also their kind of long-term memory of the subjects they're doing. So we've talked about UCAS, then end of year reviews. Towards the end of year 12, all students will have a review with their head of year to see kind of how they're getting on and see what the idea is for year 13. You know, with the International Foundation Programme there as an offering, some students will be guided towards the International Foundation Programme because they will be more successful on it than continuing on the A-levels, and with it offering entrance to all universities. For some, it's a much safer route than risking doing A-levels. So, you know, those reviews will take place with their head of year and potentially with myself, one of my assistant principals, and the director of the science faculty for those students who are thinking of medicine. And then what we've also done in the first 2 terms, instead of having parents' evenings with so many of our parents being overseas, is we have ACE Day, which stands for Abbey College Evaluation Day, which gives students the opportunity to meet with their form tutor and talk about their own development. So it's an opportunity to kind of go through their patch reports and talk to their form tutors about how they're going to improve. Okay, so instead of having a teacher talking at a parent about a student, it's the student taking that responsibility and taking on board what's being said and reflecting on it and then putting it into action. Lots of the students are 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So, they're adults or almost adults. And as adults, what we need to do is reflect and take on board that feedback and then kind of work out what we're going to do with it, how we're going to do it by ourselves, what support we're going to need from other people. So the A state, again, I talked about independence. I talked about that a little bit more. Step towards university, and again, this is a way of helping the students on that extra step. It's not always the easiest process for students to go through, but I think it's a really valuable one, and it's not done entirely in a vacuum. Students will have seen their patch reports by the time they have the ACE Day meetings, and also they're getting this constant feedback from the teachers. As I said, classes, maximum class size 12, average class size 8. They're getting constant feedback from the teachers about how to improve and how to make sure the work is kind of an appropriate level or of the level they want to be. If a student says, I need to aim for an A, then the teacher will make sure they're getting work, kind of guiding them towards that. So last year in exams, 33% of our GCSE results were 96, 45% A star to B at A levels, and the average score at IFP was 67. And we were very, very pleased with that. In terms of university destinations, so every year students progress to top UK universities, and last year 75% of the cohort got to their first choice university, which was really good. And that's thanks to the hard work that 2 of my assistant principals, like I say, put in with the UCAS process. Very, very good list of universities there to where our students go every year. And a range of courses there which the students go to, from dentistry through to law, art, psychology, economics. And again, there are lots of courses out there that students want to go to, and that's absolutely fantastic. They need to kind of talk to the teacher. There's more and more courses at more and more universities available every year. Huge range of courses, and the UCAS. So the students will have UCAS classes, as I said, and that will be an opportunity for students to explore the different universities. We also have a range of partner universities who come in throughout the year and talk to the students about their universities, about the UCAS process, about how to choose university. And again, it's something that students may not have thought about before. Do you want to be in a city? Do you want to be in a town? Do you want to be in the countryside? Do you want to be in a campus? Do you want to be in a large place, a small place, etc., etc., etc.? Do you want to be somewhere where there's lots of international students, where there's not many international students? All of these things are considerations that the students need to think about. And again, having the UCAS classes and having the partner universities coming in to talk can just help develop students' ideas. So the other side of the ISI inspection last year was pastoral and student welfare, and we were delighted that also came out as excellent, and some really good feedback there from the inspectors who came in to visit us. And then in terms of welfare, we have a dedicated well-being room on the first floor, and it's a calm space, as it says there, some pictures there where students can go. Sometimes students need meetings. We've got a counsellor who comes in once a week, and students are more than welcome to request some sessions with the counsellor, and those take place in the wellbeing room. And again, it's just a nice, quiet space away from everybody else. If students need some kind of time out or also need some pastoral meetings, there's a common room also on the first floor, place for students to go and relax. And then downstairs we have a fantastic learning centre, a brilliant learning centre manager where students go and study. The students all have compulsory study on their timetables, so because they will have study periods or they'll have free periods, And some of those they have to go and study in a learning centre, even if they don't want to. And I've got my 2 Year 12 students here, and they're both kind of shaking their heads at me because they really don't want to go and do study down there. So alongside the academics, we also have, we run various sports programs. So one of the students, Das, who's going to talk to us, he's on the football program. So he's going to talk to you about kind of his studies alongside football. So we do football, cycling, and tennis, and those courses, those sports are available with any of the courses, GCSE, A-level, or International Foundation program. Students train up to 3 days a week, and then in terms of football, they have matches on a Friday, not every Friday, but they're in a league, and so they do play regular matches on a Friday. And then in terms of tennis and cycling, there is also an opportunity to play matches if it's tennis, or compete in races. For cycling, what we've found is for students whose first language isn't English, being on the football course really helps their English improve, because obviously the coach is English, lots of the other students on the course are English, and again, make no allowances for non-native speakers. So what we found is their English improves really quickly, and they get to have fun playing football, and they also get observed by professional coaches. And some are invited, if they're good enough, to go and train with some local teams, both professional and semi-professional. And one of the boys who was on the course 2 years ago, he now plays for Oldham Athletic. He was signed for Oldham Athletic Academy, which is absolutely fantastic. And I think a couple of the others are also playing for local non-league teams, which is pretty amazing when you think about it. On a Wednesday afternoon, then we have an enrichment program, which is an opportunity for students to do something entirely different. And it's something to, as it says, enrich their curriculum, from sports to knitting, board games, science, astronomy, music. There's an awful lot of things which go on a Wednesday afternoon. And again, it's just that opportunity for students to kind of forget about their studies and spend an hour doing something totally unrelated, ideally, and totally different, just to experience something new and a little bit of mindfulness. I think knitting is the most popular club because, again, it just gives students an opportunity to completely relax, sit, knit, and have a chat, which I think is wonderful from a well-being point of view. So boarding, so Das and Saba, who join me here, are both in boarding, so they'll talk a little bit more in depth about boarding. But it's a really, really nice building. It's about a 7-minute walk in that direction, depending on how fast you walk and how many coffees you stop for on the way. And it's a really nice building. So it's only been open, I think, for about 4 or 5 years. We've been there the whole time it's been open. We've got the whole building, so all of the students in Clydesdale House are Abbey College students. There are 4 resident house parents who live there, and it's great. So the rooms are organized in clusters. So there's either 9 or 11 rooms per cluster, and then each cluster has a big living room with a big table, sofa, TV, and each cluster also has a big kitchen. We do all the cooking, we provide the food, but students can also, if they want, cook for themselves or get in groups and cook. We often celebrate kind of birthdays and things. And there's lots of activities going on in the evenings, and also trips out and trips during the holidays. It's Chester Zoo in the recent half-term holidays, and there's always students doing lots and lots of different activities. So the cycle storage and laundry is also included, as is high-speed internet, etc., etc., etc. And it's very safe. So the students have got a key fob to get in, and that fob gets them in through the first door, then down a corridor through the next door, then up the stairs onto only their wing, and their fob will only get them onto their wing. So it's very safe. Boys can't go onto girls' wings, girls can't go onto boys' wings. And then they've got a key for their bedroom. So it's very, very, very safe, despite the fact it's right in the middle of what we think is the best city here in the UK. So for our younger students, those who are under 16, they're not allowed to board in Clydesdale House. They board with host families. We've got lots of host families all around Greater Manchester, and the students, they become a part of the family. We regularly have students who, when they turn 16, choose to not go into Clydesdale House. They choose to stay with their host families because they're having such a good time, and they're really treated as part of the family. So those host families, they're from all different backgrounds, all different ages, all different walks of life. And they welcome the students into their homes and make them feel part of the family, sometimes taking them on holiday, taking them away at weekends. And it really is a home from home. And again, we find that students who live with host families, their English improves enormously because they sit and eat with the families in the evenings and weekends and stuff. And I understand students are a little bit reticent, a little bit nervous sometimes about living with a host family. But all of the host families have worked with us for many years and are absolutely fabulous. So Manchester itself, as I say, we think is the best city in the UK. About 100,000 students is the largest student population, I think, in Europe. It's huge, about 41,000 international students. So it's a small city. It's a safe city. It's a friendly city. It's a very cosmopolitan city. You don't have the same dangers as you do in some of the larger cities. It's not as dirty or as busy, and it's much more affordable than somewhere like, for example, London or some other larger cities. And obviously we've got 4 big universities here, including University of Manchester, which obviously is a Russell Group university, as it says there, ranked 8th in the UK last year. So why Abbey College? There we go. So we're a small, welcoming, friendly college where everybody knows each other, supportive, helpful, outstanding student care. And everybody uses Teams. We all use Teams for all the work. And again, unlike other places, we love the instant messenger function. So students, they might be working, doing some homework and a little bit stuck. They can just send an instant message to their teacher saying, hey, I'm a little bit stuck on this. Is this right? Can you help me? Teacher might be free and say, yeah, just pop up and see me, or we'll be able to communicate with them when they're free. And again, it's a really good way for students, letting us, if they're running late or if they've got a problem, they can just drop us an instant message, and it's great. And international and domestic students all work together. And as it says there, the campus, the boarding isn't here. So there is that break, there is that gap kind of between boarding and the college, which is really good. It's really important. The students go home when they go to Clydesdale House rather than kind of being in the one building all the time. So sports courses run alongside them. And again, as I said, the theme that keeps coming through is this more independence compared to more traditional boarding schools. So that's enough of me talking. Sorry if it's been very fast, but there's a lot to say. And I'm going to introduce you to 2 students now, and they're going to talk a little bit about their experience here at Abbey. So first of all, we've got Das. I will stop sharing my screen if I can work out how to stop sharing. There we go. Fantastic. So Das, you'll be nice and big now. So I'll introduce you. I'll get you to introduce yourself and then kind of talk about your experiences so far here at Abbey College Manchester.
Hi, hello. My name is Das. I'm 16 and I'm from Nigeria, and I've had a wonderful time at Abbey College. The football program as well as the academic program is really good. The teachers always support me when I miss classes because of a football match or because of football training. They always give me the extra support in order to help me get to the levels that others are, because I may have missed it in class. As well as the boarding is really good as well. The facilities are amazing. The bedrooms are really nice and big. My bedroom is very nice and big. I don't know about others, but it's very spacious, very clean, and the food we get is really good as well. It's manageable. You can also order food out if you don't like it, or you can also make your own food, as he said earlier. And
do you cook?
Yeah, I do cook.
You?
Yeah, I do cook.
Excellent. Do you cook Nigerian food or
Yeah,
international
yeah,
food?
I can cook jollof rice. Yeah.
And do you cook that for others or just yourself? You share it?
So I used to I have a friend called Michael, and we
Yep.
sometimes share food, or like
Nice.
who order and we just share
Yep.
what he orders. Or yeah.
Nice.
So I do tend to cook. Yeah.
And tell us, Das, what subjects are you studying here?
Business, biology, and psychology.
Business, biology, and psychology. Okay, so I would say that's a bit of a strange mixture. So the business is a bit of an outlier there.
So the reason why I
Yep,
tried,
yep,
yeah,
yep.
the reason why I tried to spread out my subjects as much as possible, because at the time I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do in uni yet, so I wanted to keep my options as open
Very
as
good.
possible
Yeah.
in order to,
Yeah.
if I wanted to go down the business route or if I wanted to focus more on the science.
Absolutely. And I think that's really sensible. And again, that's one of the beauties of being a small college. You can do these range of subjects, and
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter. So how are you finding the subjects? How are you enjoying them? What are you thinking about them so far? Which you're doing best in?
So I'm finding subjects, they're quite challenging as A
Yep.
levels normally are,
Yep.
but the teachers are providing that extra help and extra support that I may need, and
Good.
if I'm struggling with a specific topic or
Yep.
or a range of topics,
Yep.
and I'm enjoying the subjects. I feel like I've learned a lot and I'm progressing in the right way.
Good, good. And what about Ace Day? How did you find that? There was a little smile there. So I think it was hard, yeah?
Yeah, I found it very helpful because it gave me techniques and opportunities to work on things that I may not be as good as, and also get a one-to-one feedback with my form tutor so she can give me feedback from the teachers that they may not have told me,
Yep.
but they want me to improve
Yeah.
on. So I feel like it was really, really helpful.
Cool. And in terms of independence, how do you feel you've grown in the 3 months you've been with us?
Yeah,
Because you're a very confident young man anyway.
yeah, thank you. I feel like my independence has grown a lot. I'm not as dependent on other people to get stuff done now. I go and get it done myself because Abbey College gives you a sense of freedom where you're not constantly having someone breathing down your neck saying you have to do this at this time, do that at that time. You have your own time to do it, and you as well want to do it because you don't want to be late for this or miss that. So
Absolutely.
I feel like it does give you a good sense of independence.
Good. And what you've been saying also, you understand the responsibility
Yeah,
that you have to, like you say, you've not got somebody breathing down your neck, but we're there in the background, we're registering, every lesson. If you're
yeah,
late, we're phoning you saying, where are you?
yeah.
But it sounds like you're doing really well. Okay, that's really good. What about Manchester? What do you think of Manchester as a city?
I think Manchester is an amazing city. It's the music is amazing in the city. It's very cosmopolitan, as you said, that you might meet people from different races, great ethnic, great backgrounds, great ethnicity backgrounds, and it's also broadens your spectrum on people because you may have a closed-minded idea about a certain demographic of people, but then you've never met those people, so you interacting with those people would then make you want to be more friends with them or get to know them, or you might find something interesting in their culture that you want to get to know more.
Brilliant. And so in Nigeria, did you do the WAEC or did you do GCSEs or?
So what happened was I left Nigeria at year 9
Okay.
and I skipped year 10 and went straight to year 11 and I did
Hmm.
I did my GCSE in a college down in Shropshire.
Okay. Oh, so you were here last year for a
Yeah.
year. And how are you finding the difference between that college and this college?
That college was it was very secluded. It was in a little town, and the college was probably the biggest thing in the town.
Okay.
So it was like the closest thing to us was probably cows.
Right.
We could smell cows every time. So it was just, I feel like being in a city and having a small set of people, you get closer with the people you're near.
Yeah.
Because with a college that big, you're constantly meeting new people. You're like, oh, I didn't see you last week. Or I'm meeting you for the first time, and you've been there for a whole year.
Cool.
So I feel like being in a small college, it does like make you feel more connected to people.
Yeah.
And you feel more bonded around with your surroundings, and it's easier to find your way around as well.
And talk to me about the football program because you play football.
Yeah.
And so there are about 20 or so boys on the
Yeah.
football program.
Yeah.
From lots and lots of different nationalities.
Yeah.
And how's the football going?
The football is going good.
What
We're
position do you play?
attacking midfield.
Okay.
Yeah. We gel together as a team. We're very good in training. We make jokes in training all the time. Even outside of training, we're good friends. Most of us sometimes go out eat or go and play football on the weekends with each other. So it's really good. It's really enjoyable.
What about the matches? How many matches have you played so far?
So far, I think we played about 5 matches.
And they're 90 minutes. It's on proper big,
Yes.
proper kind of normal size pitches.
Yes, big pitches, standard referees.
Official referee, yeah.
Yeah, everything is really good. The
Amazing.
pitch quality is good.
Amazing.
The quality of football is good as well. So we are enjoying it.
And so you recommend that course to other students who are thinking, oh, not too sure.
Yeah, I would recommend it. Yes.
Right. All right, thank you, Das. You stay there because there might be some questions for you. And then we got Saba.
Hi, my name is Saba Shams, and I've been in the college for 3 years now, kind of 3 years now. And I came to the Abbey College when I was 15, I think so. So I started to go to the host family first, and then when I turned 16, for my second years of GCSE, I went to the accommodation Clydesdale House, and I'm doing chemistry, biology, and maths now.
Because you want to be a doctor. Is
Yes.
that right?
I want to be a dentist.
You want to be a dentist? Sorry,
Yes.
dentist. Fantastic. And okay, so you've been here a lot longer than Das. You've been here. Yeah, it's 2 complete years. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks short of 2 because you joined in January. And again, how because again you're very confident. How do you think you've grown in your time at Abbey College, Manchester?
I can say when I came here, I was a child. I can say that because I'm an only child.
Okay.
So when I came here, I really grown up because now my parents can rely on me. They know that I have a balance in my life between my workout, between my studies, and I do a lots of independent studies now because I know my goal that I want to be a dentist and I focus on my studies very really well. I think so. And I try my best to have like I found a friend that's like a family for me here, so it's going really well.
Good. So you're from Iran,
Yes.
and Iran is our #1 international student body.
Wow.
So how do you find, A, how do you find it with so many Iranian students, and B, how do you interact with all of the other different nationalities?
Well, the first week that I came here, everyone was so friendship for me, and like I connected with people really well, and specifically Iranian girls. Like on my first year, they really helped me to know every places to become friends with Iranians people. But then I find lots of friends in other countries as well.
Cool. So you do, so I didn't ask you guys about this. You both do succession and sixth form lessons.
Yeah.
How do you find that?
Well, they teach us different kinds of like studies. Like they teach us corner notes and also flashcards. And I tried all of the different like studies way. And I think the flashcards I didn't know about it before sixth form classes,
Mhm.
but now I think it's really good
And
good for me.
do you use them when you're studying?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So in terms of dentistry then, Saba, have you started looking at universities?
Yeah. I want to stay in
You want to
Manchester.
stay in Manchester?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Your goal is Manchester University.
Yeah.
And what do you need to get into Manchester University?
A and A plus.
A star.
Yes.
A star, A.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're setting your goal, but because you did really well in your GCSEs,
Mhm.
yeah, you did your GCSEs with us and got a few 9s and,
Yes.
and 8s, which is fantastic. So good. And what about, okay, so obviously you'll need lots and lots of support. What about support from your teachers? Are you getting everything you need, and how is that going?
Well, I do a lots of independent studies, but like instead of that, my teachers really helped me, and they're really helpful and make me like improve in the ways that how to study and how to improve in the parts that I like don't know and not sure about.
So it must be really hard writing biology essays and the long answers in English when it's not your first language.
Well, it was hard for me 2 years ago, but
Okay.
now because I did a lot of writing
Yeah.
here, now I'm
You did first language GCSE, didn't you?
Yes.
English. Brilliant.
so it really
you-
helped me,
So
yeah.
you don't need the IELTS class.
I'm
you-
taking it
okay.
because I wanna like make sure for my university that I have everything for
Awesome.
it. Yes.
Awesome. What I was saying before, when you get a university offer, you will also, as part of that A star AA, there will also be plus a 7.5 in IELTS, won't there?
Yes.
So
I wanna get that as well.
yeah, absolutely. You don't need that because you're from a predominantly English speaking country. Very good. So you're also in Clydesdale House. You've also got a big room.
Yes.
So tell us about what you think about boarding.
Boarding is really near to the
Actually, yeah.
college.
Actually, sorry.
Compared to the host family,
yeah,
right?
sorry to interrupt. Yeah,
Yes.
tell us compared to the host family.
Well, compared to the host family, I've been in 2 different host family.
Okay.
So the first one was really like far away from the college as I come here like with bus.
Yep.
And the second one was really near, just 20 minutes with a bus.
Cool.
And like they were so friendly, helpful, and they're like a family. They're literally like a family. But the benefit of the accommodation is that it's really near, just 7 minutes walks. And I came to the college. I come to the college every day with my friends, and yeah, and I always like see my friends, and we cook together, we study together. So that's I think that's a benefit.
Fantastic. And then yeah, so obviously you love Manchester.
I really love it. I want to stay here.
What is it about Manchester that you love?
I think just like the vibe that has a really it's in the city center, our like college in the city center. So I found really good friends here, and I can like tell it as a like a second family. So I want to be interact with them. I want to stay here just
Cool.
yeah.
And then what about, so for both of you, why did you choose to come and study here in the UK?
So I chose to
If you sit,
Sorry.
sit closer, we can see better. Yeah.
I chose to come and study in the UK because my dad is originally from the UK.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was born in Nigeria, so
Yep.
I have a Nigerian passport.
Okay.
So, but I'm moving over to the UK so we can get my British passport so I can live in the UK full time.
Why the UK rather than Nigeria though?
Because my dad is getting to that age where he thinks he wants to retire basically, and he wants to move back to the UK.
Okay.
And also with a British passport is also a lot more powerful than a Nigerian passport, so I can get more places visa free.
And what about the education? Compare the UK to what you experienced in Nigeria.
So the education system in the UK is better than Nigeria. Nigeria is more like they just give you work and expect you to know the answers, while in the UK they cater their needs around each individual student. So
Okay.
if a student may be struggling with like the handwriting or especially like math equation, a teacher will sit there and go over it for hours and hours, while in Nigeria just give it to you and expect you to find out the answer on your own.
Okay. Saba, why the UK?
I actually came for the education because it has a really good education as it's a small college, but every teacher can like interact with you and tell you about how to improve in each studies. And also because one of my friends were here the first year,
Okay.
so I was like I came here because it's kind of between I was stuck between America and here, but America like UK is near to my country to there. So I came here because it has like a strong passport. Yeah.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Well, thank you both very much. Obviously, that was completely unscripted. You didn't know what I was going to ask you. So none of that was kind of a setup. So thank you both for speaking so well and so kind of positively about everything. Sorry, do we have any questions?
We do have some questions. I mean, the first question we've got actually, Chris, might be one for yourself, and then maybe Daz can kind of answer it as well. But we're talking about the Sport Foundation program, and
Yep.
it's do you have to take 4 subjects of sport, business, biology, and psychology? I think that's possibly referring back a little bit to what we had on the slide. So I'll let you talk a bit about maybe the flexibility of that Sport Foundation.
Okay, so the Sport Foundation then it's one of the different strands on the International Foundation Programme. So students can take either 1 sport or 2 sport, different modules, and they focus on kind of different areas of sport, including nutrition, sports planning, kind of biology, the biology side of sport, and alongside doing the sport IFP most students who did the sports IFP do either football or the tennis or cycling program, but of course it's not compulsory. But then in terms of the football, basketball, cycling and tennis programs, they can be done alongside any of the academic courses. So Das, as he said, he's doing A levels. Some of the other students on the course are doing GCSEs, some are doing IFP. So there's a lot of flexibility for students to do kind of tie together different programs.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, so another question. This is both for Saba and Daz. Obviously, you talked that you are living in Clydesdale. So, just what do you tend to do at a weekend? How do you sort of fill your time at a weekend?
So for me, for my dad being from the UK, I have family in Manchester as well, which on the weekend I may go and visit them, or sometimes I may go to the gym or go out with friends to go and eat or like go play football. So there's always something to do on the weekends, or I might even stay in boarding house and study. And also we usually have like game nights down where one of us will bring down like one of our PlayStations or an Xbox, and then we'll just play in the common room all together.
Okay.
Well, for me, every Saturday I go to library in the morning with my friends, and then we go back to the Clydesdale and make Iranian food with my Iranian friends, and we eat all together in front of a movie in the common room, and then we have a movie night in the common room in our floor, and I go out to eat with my friends.
Sounds like a fantastic Saturday.
Yes, that's great. Yeah, can I come, please? Okay, and we've talked about how you both are loving Manchester. Do you have what would you think? I'm going to put you on the spot. What would you say is the best thing about Manchester? What do you like the most?
I think what I love about Manchester is the fact that the people in Manchester are amazing people. You walk around Manchester and you see friendly people wherever you go. You need help with something, there's always someone there to help you. Always someone there willing to put aside their needs to help you. It's just a very friendly city, very lively
It's a
city.
young city, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's
As
very-
well.
yeah.
It's cosmopolitan. It's
Yeah.
young.
Like you see people who play music, who dance into the music on the streets. Everything is just really, it's a really, really lively and lovely city. People are really friendly.
Like I have the same thing about that, because I think it's a really diversity city, and everyone is like friendly, and I find really good friends here.
Okay, that was great. Thank you very much. Okay, Chris, so I've had another question come in for you about do you provide enrichment support for students who have basic results to start at the college? So I think that's possibly a little bit more about what kind of study support we have.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. It depends entirely on the student, and yeah, I mean, I can't say yes because I don't quite understand the question. And I think what we'd need to do is we would need to meet the students, see what their needs are, and see how best they can be supported. You know, if we're talking GCSE, then what we said was students can do a maximum of 7. If the 7th is home language, students do a maximum of 6. But quite often, if students, you know, quite often international students, when they join us, they might only do 2 or 3. They might do maths and, let's say, maths and chemistry, and then do an awful lot of English because they need that English to then be able to access either more GCSEs the following year or A levels. So yeah, we can offer bespoke support, but it would very much depend on kind of previous schooling, on expected outcomes, and on kind of what support we're talking about.
Okay, that's great. Well, I've got, just checking, I haven't got any other questions that have come in. I don't know if there's anyone has any other questions that they wish to ask, but I think it's obviously a very detailed presentation and really interesting. Sabah and Daz, listening to you talk about your experiences. So thank you very much for coming and joining us this morning as well. So no, we've got no more questions coming in, so I will kind of close the session from there. Thank you very much to everyone who has come online and listened to us talk this morning. Is there any other questions, then please do. You can always contact the college afterwards and we'll be very happy to follow up with you. So thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thanks, Tori, for organising it, and thank you everybody for listening, and special thanks to Das and Sabah for speaking so well about their experiences here at Abbey. And as Tori says, if you've got any questions, then please do just drop us a line or come and visit us. We'd love to see you here in Manchester.
Okay, that's great. Thanks. Bye.
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 Bye.